Hey, it's Shrimp. I'm back with my third episode of Talking Sense with Shrimp. As you all know, my last episode I got a couple of things, or actually a lot of things, really wrong. So this episode I'm going to try to redeem myself. So this episode is also going to be exclusively about March Madness, but we're obviously starting from the Sweet 16. So we'll see. My picks are a little bit more right this time, but I think they will. So I have my bracket, and this time I did buy a bigger board, so hopefully you can read it this time. Let's start in the Midwest. Kentucky, West Virginia. Now, I know Coach Huggins has like an 8-2 record against Coach Cal. And so, on paper, you would think West Virginia would be the team that could beat them. And, they have that press that's like the number one defense in the land. But I also think Kentucky has like the number one offense. And at this point, I think offense ultimately wins games. And I know there's a West Virginia player that's pretty much guaranteed that Kentucky's going to be 34-1, which means, guaranteeing that Kentucky is going to lose. And I admire the confidence. I really do. You got to have swag. But I just don't see it happen. I think Kentucky advances to the Elite Eight. Notre Dame and Wichita State. Now, a couple years back, I really couldn't stand, hearing the shockers shock the world. I was tired of reading that headline. Maybe I was a little salty about the Cinderella story. But after watching them send home the Kansas Jayhawks and all their obnoxious fans, I have to root for them. I mean, I'm taking them over Notre Dame. They're going to advance to the Elite Eight. Wisconsin, North Carolina. Now, on my last video, I mentioned how that Kennedy Meeks had to be big in order for them to upset Wisconsin. Well, Kennedy Meeks apparently sustained a knee sprain in his last game and was questionable for this matchup. In fact, Coach Williams even went on and said that they were preparing to play without him. But apparently, Meeks they had a non-contact practice in their last practice. So I'm assuming he's gonna go. He'd be a fool to not go. If I were him, I'd have to have a torn ACL or an Achilles to miss this game because they are the underdog. I think they're still kind of the underdog with them, but I think I'm going to go with North Carolina. My heart is telling me North Carolina. My gut is telling me Wisconsin because I just don't trust Marcus Page, but I'm going to go North Carolina to advance to Elite Eight. Got to have some fun with the brackets. Arizona Xavier. Arizona, I think they're on a mission. Brandon Ashley missed last year with an injury, and I saw the last game, and he seems to be playing with a lot of emotion. I think they have something to prove, so I'm taking Arizona to advance. Up in the East, y'all see that name? It says NC State. I told y'all NC State was going to beat Villanova. I might have got everything else wrong, but I told y'all they were going to beat them. And I think, quite frankly, this is a good matchup for them with Louisville. Louisville was already offensively challenged with Chris Jones, and without him, they're even more offensively depleted. And I think, especially in the guard play, and I think NC State has 3 guards, and I think their guard play is going to be too much for Louisville. So I'm taking NC State to keep the upsets going. And hopefully, I'm taking NC State. Oklahoma, Michigan State. Now, I'm so mad at myself for not picking Michigan State to beat Virginia. But after watching what they did to Virginia, I have to go with them over Oklahoma. Besides, it's 11:18 a.m. and OU still sucks. So I'm going with Michigan State. Trice, the senior. Valentine's playing well. Dawson, the senior. I think they have enough. And plus, Izzo, one of the best to do it. So I'm taking Michigan State over Oklahoma. Duke and Utah. Now, I know I picked Iowa State to upset Duke. But with Iowa State gone, Villanova gone, Duke virtually has a cakewalk to the championship game. And I really don't think I didn't see anything from Utah to where they have enough to handle Duke. I would have loved to see the Georgetown-Duke matchup just because I think Georgetown would have a little bit more swagger, but it didn't happen. And I just don't see anybody contain Okafor. Plus, Matt Jones, sophomore guard, and freshman Justice Winslow. Matt's from DeSoto, which is a suburb in Dallas. Winslow's from Houston. They're playing in Houston. They're going to be playing in front of a home crowd. And I expect them to put on a show, which is why I think they'll easily advance to the Elite Eight. And then UCLA, Gonzaga. UCLA, I guess, finally, proved that they deserve to be in the tournament. But I just don't see enough to beat Gonzaga. So I'm going to go with Gonzaga into the Elite Eight. Let's go back to the Midwest. Kentucky and Wichita State. A rematch. I don't know. Wichita State has made a believer out of me. They have a lot of weapons, and I didn't realize they had so many people that were there. Really the only one that's missing is Anthony Early, but they still have a lot of those pieces that they had before. But I just think Kentucky, having a second five to come in and just be just as good as the starters, I think it's critical. And they're huge. I don't see it happening. Kentucky, I'm picking them in advance. UNC Arizona. I just think Marcus Page is going to fail me. And I think Arizona, like I said, I think they're on a mission, so I'm taking Arizona to advance to the semifinal. Let's see. NC State, Michigan State. Once Michigan State got an attorney, I feel like they would be okay because they have the coaching advantage. So I'm going to go with them. NC State, I appreciate you for proving me right, but I think your run ends there. Michigan State will advance. Duke, Gonzaga. I know it's a lot of people that's been anxious to see this, and in the past, it probably would have been a good matchup the way Duke was structured, but this is perhaps the most athletic Duke team I've ever seen. Winslow goes from 0 to 100 real quick, and I think they're going to be way too much for Gonzaga, so I'm picking Duke to advance. Kentucky, Arizona. Oh, I don't know. Obviously I do know, but probably a fun game to watch because they have Hollis Jefferson. What's his name I can't think of his name. There's another big guy for Arizona, but yeah, I don't see anybody beating Kentucky, but perhaps Duke. I have Duke, Michigan State. I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan State upset them because Michigan State seems to elevate their game when they're in the big moment. But I'm going with Duke. When they're on, they're really, really on. And Quinn Cook, I think he wants to. He's a senior. I think he wants to end this thing on the bang. So I'm picking Duke to advance. And so now we have the highly anticipated matchup of Kentucky and Duke. You can thank Villanova and Iowa State for that because it should easily happen now. Kentucky Duke, I'm taking Kentucky. I just think after Kentucky got to the championship game last year and lost to UConn, I don't think those twins like that feeling in their mouth. I don't think Cauley Stein liked the way that tastes either. So I'm thinking they're going to remember that. And, remember I said they didn't cut the nets in the SEC tournament? I think they're going to cut the nets this time. So I think I'm taking Kentucky over Duke. So we'll see. Those have been Shrimp's Sweet 16 predictions, and they're on out. We'll see if I'm a little bit more correct this time. I hope you like this episode. This has been Talking Sense with Shrimp. Any feedback, I'm welcome to it. Thanks. Hook 'em.